Hello, VR students. I hope you're all doing well. I want to give you a quick and very sort of informal and kind of exploratory introduction to Mozilla Hubs. Mozilla Hubs is a really neat virtual meeting space. You can interact with a lot of different ways. If you have a connected VR headset like an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive Pro, something like that, you can go virtually into this space, but you can also use it with other unconnected displays such as the Oculus Quest and even the Samsung Gear VR. I haven't tried this with Google Cardboard or anything like that, so I don't know if it works there, but it definitely works with Samsung Gear VR. So if you have a Samsung phone, and let's see if I can. There we go. Samsung Gear VR. Yeah, this guy. Okay, so if you have access to one of these and a Samsung phone, you can also access hubs immersively, so be there in 3D. But you can also be in hubs in the same way you would be in like a game on your computer screen. So let's actually click here and create a room. This is going to be kind of rough. I'm not going to do any editing on this video, so you're getting the straight recording in as long as it actually takes in reality. Okay, so one of the interesting, perhaps annoying things about hubs is it gives you a really cute name for your meeting space. These are randomly generated. I haven't spent enough time to actually figure out what adjective and noun combinations are being used to generate these names, but you get a name. And you can enter this a couple different ways. If you've got like a Gear VR or a Quest or something like that, you can click here. Otherwise, you click Enter Room. And now it gives you the option to use a connected headset like a Rift or a Vive, or you can click Enter on Screen. And it'll ask for permissions for your microphone and those kind of things. If you want to talk, which is probably something you'd want to do, with someone else in the virtual space, you're going to want to enable that. It does by default have your mic muted, at least for me, so you're going to want to unmute that, and you can see, hey, it hears me talking. See the little audio level thing there? Yeah, there we go. And then you can enter the space. Do do do. Hopefully, it's also capturing my desktop sound, so you don't think I'm a lunatic just making musical noises. But yeah, you can drag around the seed and sort of do a mouse look kind of thing using your keyboard. Typical WASD movement will get you around. Q and E give you rotations, or you can just do your mouse look. So this is just basically using hubs. If you want to share a hub space with someone, you can click the share button, and they can either use this link. You can tweet it, you can copy the URL, or you can give them this code. And when they go to the Hub's website, there's a little link that says that you already have a room. Just click there and enter this code. Anyway, but that's not the interesting part. The interesting stuff is actually making VR spaces with hubs. For this, let's actually do the proper thing and close the room. Yes, I want to close the room. Yeah, and then your room disappears. So if we go back to hubs, so you have a room. This is where you'd enter that code. Uh, let's say we wanted to make our own virtual space. Uh, Not a lot of explanation up here at the top. What's new? Source, community, and Spoke. Spoke is their environment editor. So if you click on Spoke, you'll get something like this, and you can click on Get Started. And it lists projects that you've saved or things that you've already worked on. Let's just start with a blank project. So let's go to New Project, and it'll let you let you start with something you can build on. Let's just go to an empty one. I think this puts you in the crater environment. So already you see this looks very similar to what you've probably seen if you've used like Blender or Unity 3D or something like that. Similar sort of mouse interactions are also being used. So, using your scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out. Using your right mouse click, click and hold, you can look around the scene. You can also rotate around a point with the left mouse button. But if you click and hold the middle mouse button, it'll let you translate and drag the scene one way or the other. Okay, so kind of cool. I'm going to move this up a little bit so we get a better view of our assets windows down here. A lot of things similar to what you've seen in Unity. You can add box colliders, you can add lights, audio sources. Now, one of the cool things you can do is you can add web content. So, for instance, this will dynamically load an image. So let's click on here and see it automatically puts this guy in the scene, and you can click and we'll just position it right there. Also similar to what you've seen in like Unity, you can click the little coordinate system arrows on the object and drag them around. Let me find a nice image that we can copy and paste in here. Now, in all honesty, I've had a little bit of mixed results. Sometimes the image doesn't refresh right. Sometimes it does. Yeah, there we go. So there's your web content. That crazy looking guy. Similarly, you can embed videos. We use this space hubs for the IEEE VR conference last week, and Twitch and YouTube videos were somehow embedded here. I've tried pasting a YouTube embed link here. It didn't seem to work. So there's probably some other way to make that happen. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. I haven't used this yet. Let's see what happens when we do this. Oh, that's kind of cool. Gives you a nice little ripply, tidy water effect. That's neat. Very cool. You can also add your own assets. For instance, we've got this 3D model of our classroom. Let's say we wanted to drag that out here into the space. And it's loading it up. There it is. And these have to be in GLB format, which is something that I haven't actually worked with before. I'll tell you how I made this one. You could probably do it in Blender or something like that too, would be my guess. But I actually made this using Google SketchUp. So I made this environment in SketchUp, and there's a plugin that lets you export to GLB. And the plugin doesn't work with... Okay, let me rephrase that. It claims it doesn't work with newer versions of SketchUp, but it did. So maybe there's certain versions of SketchUp it's not going to function well with, but for me, I was using the latest free version. SketchUp is not 100% free now, but they still have free archival versions that you can download. So if you want to play around with SketchUp, it's a really awesome 3D modeling tool, very easy. It's not as powerful as things like Fusion 360, but for some things people want to do things like Fusion's overkill. Yeah, I actually really like Google SketchUp. A lot of my 3D printed stuff I make in SketchUp. So yeah, this is a pretty cool tool. You can upload your own images and videos and have them stored as your assets that you can use in other projects. Another nifty feature, and let me just go ahead and get rid of this. I'm going to click this model and hit delete on my keyboard. So another nifty thing they have are architectural building blocks. So you can kind of think of these as Legos for building buildings. You've got doorways and windows and ramps and roofs, and you can sort of drag and drop, a virtual space with this. It's kind of cool. It's got it separated out by, say, floors, by unit size, platforms, doors, walls. Yeah, your kind of usual you would expect it to be there kind of stuff. So let's take one of these guys and drop into our world. Hey, there we go. Cool, right? Okay, so we've got a door. Let's put a window next to it. So kind of put it end to end. Okay. Oh, and it by default goes to making another one of these when you're done. If you hit escape, it'll get you out of that mode. Yeah. So already we've got a little bit of architecture going on. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Really neat. Let's look at it from the other. Oh my gosh, it disappeared. So keep in mind, backface culling happens. These are one-dimensional, made out of one-dimensional planes. So if you want to say have a have a wall that actually has two visible sides, the easiest thing I found to do is just duplicate this, and we'll call this one back, and we'll call this one front. And on the one that you've, oops, it didn't save that, back. The one that you've labeled back, I would go over here to your Z depth or your Z scale and change that to -1. Whoops, not the right. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. So notice that the scale has this little chain icon next to it. That means if you change one of these, it's going to change all of them the same way. We don't want to do that. We want to unlock it and then change your Z scale to -1. And what that did, it just reversed the direction along the Z axis of that geometry. And so we can do the same thing with our window. So we'll name this one front. We'll name this one back. And go down here and change that Z scale to -1. Boom! Okay. Looking good. Okay, so now we should have... Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Interesting. Well, that shouldn't have happened. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's not exactly a perfect setup, but it's still a fairly powerful tool. Let's see if we can figure out what went wrong with this guy. Make it invisible, make it visible, didn't help. Okay. So... Oh, wait, what happened? I know exactly what happened. I duplicated the wrong object. Okay, that's cool. We can deal with that. Let's see if we make this invisible, what happens. Okay, so this one is probably not the one we need. Let's get rid of that. And yeah, that guy looks good. Okay, so is this... This is the one we want. Okay, so let's duplicate this object and go to call it front. Make it visible. There we go. Okay. And what? There we go. Okay. Maybe I should consider naming my objects a little more clearly. Okay, cool. So we've already built some architectural geometry here, some neat stuff. It has stairs. I was playing around with this. These are actually really neat, but also can be slightly annoying. So let's put a stairway right here just for kicks and grins, as my grandpa would say. Okay. So again, notice it disappears when you look at it from back faces, but hopefully you're not going to be doing too much underneath the stairway. Yeah, kind of cool. It has nifty little stair rails. Now this is the part that really annoyed me, is it was really hard for me to get the stair railing aligned with the stairs. And of course I say that and I pretty much nail it on my first try, so yeah, expert, man. That was pure dumb luck. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we've got a stairway, we've got a wall, we've got some images coming from the web. The other cool thing is it also has uh, some nice low polygon models, things like fish tanks and cockpits and remote controls, foxes. Oh, cool! Futurama, and things like X-wings and couches and cell phones, and also lunches. Neat. Let's be all an HTC Vive. Neato. Let's add the Futurama lab to our space. There we go. Cool, cool. Oh, wait. What's that? Let's turn around. Yep, that's what I thought. A little tiny bender. Neat. Okay, so that's amused me for the day. Okay, there we go. Nice view on that. Okay, people. Let's see what this is. Ah, well, some of these I'm not sure I would call people, but people like things, things that are similar to people, like that. Not really a person, but um, you know, whatever. Let's see, objects. Yeah, some more low poly objects. Neat. Okay, let's Sketchfab. Ah, this is cool. So these look like some high poly objects. Ooh, that's a really nice looking multimeter. Let's add a multimeter to our scene. Everybody needs a multimeter. Or a multimeter for your proper types. Okay, I guess because it's more detailed models, taking a little longer for it to load. Um, whoa, that's a big one. Yeah, let's scale that down, shall we? Let's make it 1/10 its current size. Okay, so still a giant multimeter, but yeah, that's a really nice. That's a nice model. I like that. Uh, Plus, you can add GIFs to your scene. For those of you who saw my fireside chat lecture giving updates on the grading policy and those kind of things, the really dorky looking fireplace that was next to my virtual couch was one of these GIFs. So yeah, cool. Yeah. So Michael, Sarah, some friends. Don't know that one. Heh. Cool. So there's a lot of neat features here. Let's see. Let's add fireplace. Yeah, there we go. And we'll just add that. Dang. Fireplace pulls up some weird images. Okay, so moving back along. Okay, so now we've got a nifty fireplace GIF out here, and yes, I say GIF. I was part of the internet before what you think of as the internet existed, and yes, we called it GIF in the ancient tongue. None of this GIF mess. Okay, so it doesn't look animated right now, but it will shortly. So let's once you've done making your scene, you can go to Publish to Hubs, and it'll do this, and you can give it a name. We'll call this 447 example, and we'll save that project. Okay, and you can. I'm not going to share this one. This is just going to be one for you guys to play around with. You can allow remixing under Creative Commons license. You can have Mozilla promote your scene. I don't want anyone promoting this. This is ridiculous. You can do really cool stuff. This is just a crazy example. Okay, and let's save. Oh, and see, it adds model attributions. So this dude made that awesome multimeter. That's good job, dude. Good job. Okay, so let's save and publish. And we're waiting. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, like I said, no real editing here. You're seeing this all in the actual amount of time it took to build this environment, which frankly is a little bit impressive, given, how far along we were as much as like 5 or 10 years ago. Definitely way easier than 10 years ago. Still a lot easier than like 5 years ago. The simple fact that you can, go to a website and generate a really cool 3D environment like this is pretty darn awesome. Okay, it is in the process of uploading the scene at 28, 29, 30%. Anyway, so what have you guys been binge watching during our quarantine quarantine and classes? We've been doing a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Really like that show. Looking at that watching Lego Masters recently. Terry Crews from Nine-Nine did a cameo on an episode recently. So really cool. Um, yeah. Other than that, I don't know what we've been watching. I forget every day. Let's see. Been watching Alton Brown YouTube videos. That guy's awesome. I remember when he was first making Good Eats videos on Food Network back when it was more Food Network than Reality Food Network. And that was a really awesome show. They're reloading a lot of those episodes, doing some remixes and add-ons, and plus they've got a new edition of that show coming out too, which is supposed to be pretty awesome. Anyway, pretty much anything with Alton Brown in it, we'll watch. He's like the mad scientist of Food Network, so mad props to him just being an awesome dude. Okay, so let's see. View your scene. Yes. Okay, so now we can open it up and create a room with a scene. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear my dog barking at something. Okay. Now keep in mind, be patient. This is a 3D immersive virtual environment running in a freaking web browser. So if it's a little bit slow, just keep in mind that it's doing a lot of stuff in a web browser. That is just mind-blowing. Okay, cool. Let's enter the room. Hey, there we go. And look, there's our nifty fireplace. And There's our Futurama lab. There's our nifty wall. We're standing on top of all this cool water. There's your crazy professor. And we've got this terrain we can explore. Ooh, and there's our neat multimeter. And notice down here at the bottom it tells you your FPS. So that's not bad. I mean, running a web browser, getting like 30-ish frames a second, that's actually kind of impressive. Now, things like this GIF here, you can pause it if you want. If it's a video, it's got volume associated with it. You can turn the volume up and down. And yeah, you can actually look at objects that are added to the scene, like our fireplace, this guy. Let's see, we wanted to delete one of these. Oh, well, maybe it won't let me delete it from here. That's weird. So ignore the fact that I even mentioned that then. I bet you... Okay, so while you're in the scene, you can add more objects. Let's say we add a piano. And there's a tiny piano. Let's click on the tiny piano. Let's get closer. There we go. Now, we should be able to remove this. So yeah, there we go. Okay. So objects that were added to the scene, like as part of the scene in the editor, you can't remove in real time, it looks like. But objects you added to the scene while you were in the scene, so temporary objects, you can select them and you can remove them. Otherwise, you can jump to the location of the object using that goto function. Let's get our fire going again. So, yeah, neat. Okay, so I'm going to post an assignment to Blackboard. What I want you guys to do is make a virtual world with this. Try to be as impressive as possible. I might give you a theme. I'm not sure. Sometimes you guys work better without themes, and sometimes a theme really helps. But you guys have been pretty darn creative in our little quick challenges in class. So maybe I'll just let you run with it, but we'll see what comes up. So keep an eye on Blackboard. I'm probably going to post the official assignment either later tonight or early tomorrow, so keep an eye on that. Go ahead and start playing around with hubs and spoke. It's a really fun environment to mess around with. So with that, I'm going to stop recording and get this thing published to the web. Looking forward to seeing your creations, and if you have any questions, let me know. I just posted a online tutorial a YouTube tutorial on using my office hours, my virtual office hours via Skype. So if you want to get in touch with me there, click on that. Office hours are typically going to be 4 to 5 p.m. during weekdays. Today I have some other important meetings lined up for that period, so I won't be available then. But you're more than welcome to just hop on the Skype channel I've set up, and if I'm in there, I'm willing to talk to you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to wrap up, and see you in cyberspace, folks.